Hi there. So it's been a while. As of recording this, it's been about 1.5 months since I've posted, so, yeah, what's up with that, huh? Well, we will talk about that with a cat on my lap because she wouldn't leave me alone, so if you hear any chirps or purrs, that's why. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well, because if you are, that makes one of us. So I talked about it in my community tab. I will put up a screenshot if you want. Feel free to pause to read. No. I'd say I'm struggling to talk because it's been a while, but let's be honest, even if I was recording consistently, this would still be happening. I'll put a screenshot up if you want to read it. Feel free to pause, or you can just go check out the actual thing if the screenshot's too small. Whatever you want to do. But I mentioned it over there, and long story short, my, mental health went a little, fun stuff happened to it. So, I also want to say that I'm trying not to make this like a super bummer of a video. I talked about mental health, oh god, how long ago was it now? 6 months? I guess the same message I want to give here is that I don't want to make this video and have it come off as like, oh, woe is me, life is so hard for me, or anything like that. I think, A, I should give my subscribers a bit of an update on what's going on. I mean, you guys are subscribed here for content. What have I not been giving you guys? Content! So aside from just giving a general update to you guys, I do think it is important for people to talk about mental health funks that they go through, especially because I know that there are a lot of people who follow me who want to start YouTube channels or want to go into like freelancing art, and if you are someone who struggles with mental health, this is a very real part of it. It is something that for sure affects your work, so I do think it's important for me to talk about. I also just want to say that I don't feel like I owe you guys any sort of explanation. Every time I talk about this, people say that, like, I don't owe you guys anything, and I agree. I don't owe you guys what's going on in my head, but I want to talk about it. I think I'll feel better talking about it. I think it's important for people to talk about it. I'm not going to be going into tons of details of things that I don't want to, and I'm sure you guys will respect that, so thank you in advance. You guys are always super lovely about not wanting to invade my privacy, and I'm very grateful for that. But I do want to talk a little bit about what's happening-ish. I guess this video is a combination of how my particular mental illnesses affect my work. Abby just gave me a tiny little bite in my arm. Thank you for that. You know, that's how cats show affection, but it's very jarring every time it happens. It'll be a little bit of an update video, a little bit of how my mental health affects my work ethic, and then I guess what will be changing on the channel as a result of all of this. So yeah, this will be a super fun, lighthearted video with only positive topics. Let's get into it. I guess first thing I should talk about is how I have been affected, why there's been severe lack of content on this channel. And the summary of it all is that it's just hard to work, but more specifically, the reason that it is becoming hard for me to work. First of all, I mentioned this before, I will mention it again. I will probably continue to mention it, so I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. But at this point in my life, I have pretty much accepted that I have pretty, I don't want to say super severe, but definitely present undiagnosed ADHD. I know people have a lot of opinions on self-diagnosing. I honestly have my own opinions about self-diagnosing, but I do think that there are certain times where it absolutely is valid, I guess. I think there are times where self-diagnosing is, I guess, needed, because if you look at situations like mine, I live in America where the healthcare system is infamously lacking. Not there. Okay, Abby. Are you gonna... Thank you. What was I saying? God, speaking of undiagnosed ADHD. America is infamously known for not having the best healthcare system, we shall say, and so if I were to go actively pursue a diagnosis, it would cost a lot of time and money, which I don't have. And also, I guess more specifically with ADHD in adults, I know that that is something that, for whatever reason, a lot of doctors are very reluctant to diagnose. I'm not sure why. That's just what it is, I guess. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about why I believe I have ADHD, because that's just a whole other topic that I can talk about for fucking forever. But I guess some of the main points to hit that are related to my channel, it's very hard for me to focus. I can't. I find that listening to music with headphones works, but I'm not gonna say that listening to music with headphones in makes me focused. The best way I can describe it, if I were to put headphones in and listen to music specifically, not like a YouTube video or a podcast, it has to be music specifically. If I do that with headphones, I am distracted, but without headphones, I'm very distracted. So it's not even that like headphones make me focused, headphones help to make me less distracted. So even when I do try to do things that help me focus, I'm not even entirely focused. Something that tends to happen a lot, I'll have a thought in my head and then I'll just end up sitting there staring into space, lost in my thought that gets interrupted by another thought, and then I start thinking about that thought, and then I just stare off into space thinking about that thought, and then that gets interrupted with another thought, etc., etc. The loop is absolutely awful, and that will just happen in the middle of me working. And sometimes if I'm filming like a sketch vlog or something, that will happen like out loud. Like I'll just start talking and going on a tangent, and subscribers of my channel have probably seen it many times before. Sometimes I'll just talk a lot about nothing, and this is probably why. I guess when it comes to the filming aspect of it, that can be a perk for like sketch vlogs. But if I'm trying to film like a speed paint or whatever, it's very, very awful. And it's a big reason why it takes me a lot longer to finish art than I would like, and a lot longer to like get to recording and editing. And I said that that could be a perk for like sketch vlogs, but when it comes to editing, oh boy. I've constantly talked about how sketch vlogs are a lot harder for me to edit because it's not just me speeding up footage and then recording voiceover. I have to go through hours of footage to get usable bits, and that takes a long time. It's kind of a 50-50 of I can either film something and then take forever editing it, or I can take forever filming something but like take less time to edit it because I'll have less footage and things to go through. So generally when I'm editing, I'm always just very distracted and it's hard for me to get through it, which I'll get to in a bit. So I guess sometimes I just have to pick my battles of which one I want to tackle, and lately it's been nothing. And I had a really hard time explaining this in my community tab, so I'll do my best to do it here. But when it comes to speaking instead of writing, I'm a lot less coherent, so just bear with me. But whenever I try to force myself to stay focused and try not to like let myself get up and go do something else, whether that's like just chores or playing with the pets or literally just walking up, going to the kitchen, forgetting why I'm there and going back to my desk to sit down only to repeat that same thing 5 minutes later, it almost feels physically painful in my brain. And I don't know if this makes any sense to anybody, but if I'm sitting there forcing myself to work, it feels almost like there's like a squeezing around my brain. Does this make any sense? The best I can explain it, but like, what the fuck, you know? And then I just get really upset, frustrated, I don't even know what the right word would be. And it sucks because I do genuinely really love what I do. I'm very lucky to be doing what I do. I'm assuming if you're subscribed to my channel, you're probably an artist. And so I'm sure you can relate to always being told that like art can't be your job and you have to have like something to fall back on, especially if you're someone like me where you just fucking draw anime movie and then that's your art. So being able to have a job where I can draw what I genuinely enjoy drawing, I'm very, very lucky. And so it sucks that whenever I go to do the work that I am passionate about and work that I am very lucky to have and very happy to have, I just get frustrated and I don't know why. And it's not even necessarily because of the art or the things that I'm making, it's just the actual physical act of working is so painful and exhausting on my brain. And as of recording this, I did have a day where I really, really, really pushed myself to just fucking work. It was for this video actually, finishing this drawing. I started it a month ago and then just very recently forced myself to actually get through beginning to end, which in case you were wondering, yes, I have experienced all of the things I talked about so far, just getting lost in thought and having my brain almost physically hurt from doing it. And then I got it done after entirely too long of not getting it done. But then after that, like, I was exhausted. Like, normally I would say I go to bed at around 11 or 12 p.m. Or I guess 12 a.m. Right? Yeah. 11 or 12 at night, I should say. But then before it was even 10, I felt like I had stayed up until 3 a.m. because I just was so fucking exhausted. And so I guess that's kind of the dilemma that I'm in, where I either take entirely too long to do things and not be able to pay the bills, or work to a point where I am able to pay the bills, but then I'm just exhausted and sad all the time. And I also think that just as a result, I end up putting a lot less effort into things than I normally would. Like even in this drawing, I'm not going to say that like I hate this drawing and it's the worst thing that I've ever made, but definitely it feels very rushed because I did have to force myself to even finish it, and it's a drawing that I was excited to make. Ever since doing the 1-layer challenge, I wanted to do more like digital painting stuff, and so even though this was something that I was looking forward to, I just couldn't bring myself to work, and it sucks, and it made me feel like a failure, and I go to bed at night thinking about how much I need therapy, which I say is a joke, but also that's just been my life, you know? Another big thing that I forgot to write down in my notes, because of course I did, but of something that has been, like, absorbing my life a lot is hyperfixations, and honestly, it's something that has always done that, but I just never had a word for it. Like, I can be really focused, but, like, on the wrong things, you know? Like, one time I ended up staying up until 4 a.m. because I learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and I was physically incapable of putting it down, and just things like that. And I wish I could do that for my work, but I can't exactly pick and choose what I end up hyper-focusing on, I guess. I guess it's the more extreme version of what I was talking about earlier, where I'll get lost in thought, and I get very distracted by that. It's something that can last a very long time, and it's something that's really hard to pull myself out of. I don't know what to do about it. And I do also want to say, because I think it's relevant, in the past, if you look at my community tabs where I'll usually announce why a video is late or whatever, honestly, a lot of those are very much exaggerated excuses, and it's a weight that's been on my chest that I really want to get off my chest. It's been haunting me. Some of them were like legitimately, this is what's happening, but for a lot of them, because I would experience these things of being so distracted or being hyper-focused on the wrong things, or just going through any other mental health funk, like I would just look for any plausible excuse as to why the video would be late and then latch onto it. Like I remember one time, for anyone who doesn't know, I live in the state of Florida. Hello. Don't call me a Floridian, though. I hate it here. Florida always has hurricane season, and where I live, and where I used to live in Florida, I've never experienced a hurricane. I've always just experienced, like, a bad thunderstorm. And at one point, I put out a thing saying the video might be late because I might lose power because of a storm, because of a hurricane. I never did lose power, but truth be told, it's like I didn't even try to work. I was just looking for excuses to let myself be distracted, because forcing myself to work would just feel physically painful, even if it was work that I was excited for and wanted to share with everybody. Just being, I guess, just incapable of working just made me latch on to any sort of plausible excuse and then blowing it a little out of proportion, so then that way I could feel better about not being able to work. Abby, I'm trying to pour my heart out here. And that's just one instance. There are a lot of times, not every single time a video has been late, but a good number of times where a video has been late, or there is a week where I didn't post. It was a situation like that, where the real root of the issue was mental health, whether that was depression or anxiety or ADHD or whatever it may be. But having that for an excuse, for lack of a better term, over and over and over again, it just felt like, I know you guys wouldn't say this to me, but in my head, it would feel like it would get to the point where I was just using that as an excuse, and I wasn't really trying to push myself to get things done that I wanted to get done, even though I knew deep down in my heart I was, and these were things that I was genuinely struggling with. It kind of just felt like a little bit of a boy who cried wolf situation, I guess. I know you guys wouldn't say that to me because you guys are very lovely, and a lot of you guys also go through a lot of the similar things that I do, so I'm sure you guys would get it, but I don't know. Those are just the voices in my head telling me that I'm shit, but you know. And also, speaking of depression and anxiety, I have been pretty open on my channel about how at the end of last year, I went through some shit. I was going through what we in the business call life trauma. And I'm not going to go into details about everything that happened. I don't think now is the time or the place. I don't know if it'll ever be the time or place. Summary of it all. In order for me to get through what happened, I kind of just shut my emotions off, which isn't healthy, I know. So nobody tell me that that's not healthy. Trust me, I know. But it was the only way that I was really able to get through everything that happened without having like a complete mental breakdown, truth be told. But then now that all of that is over, I don't want to say that it's over. The actual events happening, now that all of that is over, I guess just all of the emotions of everything that happened kind of just hit me because they were shut off for so long. And I've had a lot of stuff in the past, not even just in the past year, but in the past like 5 years, the past decade, where they kind of just went either unaddressed or poorly handled. And then while I'm dealing with all of the stuff that happened last year, and I'm at a point where I'm not really able to turn my emotions off anymore, all that stuff in the past that I've gone through that hasn't been addressed or poorly handled is also coming back for some reason. I mean, it's almost as if when things go unaddressed, the problem isn't actually solved, am I right? Who would have thought? But then that's another thing that's kind of just been killing me inside, because some of the stuff that I've been thinking about is from like 5+ years ago, and I don't know why I'm now getting hung up on it again. And so when I'm dealing with all of that at once, I end up sleeping in a lot more because I just don't want to get up and do stuff, but then also not being able to go to sleep at night without any sort of like distraction, I guess. I always fall asleep to YouTube videos because if I don't, I will just be lost in my thoughts all night and never be able to go to sleep. And there have been plenty of times where I'll just have an panic attack just during the day for no apparent reason. There wasn't anything specifically that makes me anxious, it will just happen. And for anyone who has had a panic attack, you know that they fucking suck. They're really not fun at all. Obviously, they're very emotionally painful and exhausting, but I think something that people don't talk about enough is how physically painful and exhausting panic attacks can be. For anyone who doesn't experience panic attacks just on the rig, here's a fun little fact for you. Depending on its severity, an panic attack can feel just as painful as having a heart attack, which also is an excellent piece of knowledge to know when you have an anxiety disorder and everything makes you stressful. Sorry for anyone whose day I just ruined with that. But they fucking hurt. Like, they're physically painful. So not only are you in physical pain, but you're also in such an intense emotional distress, and then by the end of it, you're just fucking exhausted. And there have been plenty of times where I'll have a panic attack and I have to spend the entire day recovering and trying to not spiral myself into another anxiety attack. And then there are times where even the day after, because of how bad the anxiety was, I just couldn't work because I was too focused on not having another panic attack. And then while experiencing all of that fun stuff, something that I would always think about is the channel and how I haven't been working. I haven't been making videos, I haven't been filming videos, I haven't been editing videos, I haven't been working on commissions, I haven't been working on comic stuff. Truth be told, I've barely been able to like do personal art to try and help myself. And not only would I feel, I guess, guilty, I would also feel stressed because I wasn't getting any work done. And this is how I make a living. This is how I pay for bills. This is how I support myself. And so when I'm not able to do it, I feel really stressed and it sucks. And then you would think that thinking about how much work I'm not getting done, that would motivate me to do work, but it has the exact opposite effect for some reason. Whenever I think about all of the work that I haven't gotten done and how much my bank account has taken a hit, it kind of just has like this deer in headlights sort of effect where I'm just so overwhelmed by all of it that I just freeze. And as much as I would like to work, I can't. And it's this vicious cycle of being stressed because my work isn't done. And then I would get so overwhelmed by that I can't work. And so I guess everything considered, it's an emotional cocktail of fuck. You know? That's just a big... That's just how I've been feeling for the past forever. Just fuck. That's a good way to put it. And when I was posting on my community tab of when I'm planning on coming back, a lot of you guys were saying, like, I'm glad you're feeling better, but honestly, that's a bit of a generous thing to say. Truth be told, I'm really not. I don't know when I can say for sure that I will be better. I do have medication for depression and anxiety, but I don't have any sort of therapy or any sort of treatment for ADHD specifically. I can't afford it. So I don't really know entirely what I can do to get better. I mean, if anyone out there wants to pay for therapy for me, hit me up. Kidding, but also not. I don't know, I feel like if I were to just go on about everything that I've experienced, I'm just gonna keep repeating myself. But yeah, that's just what's been going on with me. That's just how work has been affected, and so I guess the big thing now is what's gonna happen to the channel, what's gonna change. There are gonna be some changes. Generally, don't worry, I'm not quitting YouTube. I don't think I'm ever going to quit YouTube, even if it does get to a point where YouTube isn't my main job anymore. I just love this too much. I'm never gonna quit, and I'm still going to be doing art. Don't worry, but there are going to be a few changes, I think, just to try and make it a little bit easier for myself and try to motivate myself to work again. And the first one is the upload schedule. I would love to weekly upload again, and maybe in the future I will be able to weekly upload, but for now I just need to be a lot more lenient with myself with when I do uploads. I do want to just remind everybody that I am one person. I film everything myself, I edit everything myself, I post everything myself. Everything that goes behind the Oliver's Antics channel, it's all just me. I don't have any editors, I don't have anybody to post my videos for me. It's all just me. And a lot of people who do post multiple times a week or weekly usually have like a team behind them, but it's just me. And I think it does get to the point where I expect too much of myself. Depending on the content, I can definitely make weekly uploads possible, but I find that, at least lately, with the type of videos that I want to make, or the type of videos that I get excited, or the type of videos that you guys want to see, weekly uploads aren't possible, at least right now. Even ignoring all of the shitstorm of emotions that I just poured on all of you, sometimes it just isn't possible because certain videos take different times to film and certain videos take different times to edit. Of course, there's like video exporting times and uploading times and processing times. It's a whole thing. And I think there have been plenty of times in the past where I made a video that I don't want to say not proud of, but there have been times where I feel like the quality of the video could have been better if I had just taken more time on it, but because I was so stuck on having a weekly upload schedule, I just let the quality of the videos go down in exchange for being able to post that often. But I think that that's something that I want to change. I am definitely going to try to maintain some sort of schedule, but I'm not going to promise like a video every Wednesday or even a video every week. I think now it just has to be however long a video takes me to make. That's just how long it's gonna take me to make, and it'll be uploaded whenever it's uploaded. In terms of the content that I'm making, there might be a slight change of the content. Obviously, I'm still gonna be doing art. There's not gonna be like a huge shift or whatever, but sometimes I feel like there's a drawing in particular I want to make, or a type of video that I want to make that I don't think people would be interested in or wouldn't necessarily fit on the channel or would make a good video. I'm just gonna do it now. I think the biggest thing is finished illustrations. It's very rare for me to have a video where I don't have a finished illustration of some sort. So I guess there are going to be a lot more like sketches and conceptual stuff. I know you guys like that anyway, and I already knew that you guys liked that, but I don't know. There's just something about having a finished illustration in every video that makes everything seem a little bit more polished and worthwhile, I guess. I don't really know how to put into words what I'm thinking, but there's going to be stuff like that. There are definitely like one-off illustrations or like a series of illustrations that I have in my head, but because I think that whether it's people won't be interested in it or won't make a good video or I don't have like a topic or whatever, I'm just gonna make the video. When I mentioned making this video on my communities tab, I asked you guys what type of content you like to see from me, and sure, there were a lot of specific videos that you guys said that you liked, but in general it was just people saying that they like my art and they like watching people who are passionate about their art and their characters and their stories, and they just enjoyed watching someone enjoy art. And at first I was like, that's not really helpful because I already kind of do what I want, but then when I really thought about it, I guess I really wasn't doing that 100%. Like, there are definitely drawings that I think would be interesting to make that I just didn't make. I guess, like, if there's times where I just want to just draw on my sketchbook and do whatever, I'll just do that and film it and then just act like I'm not recording a video and just draw whatever I feel like drawing, even if it's like the dumbest sketches I can imagine. I haven't ever made a video that I didn't want to make. Every drawing that I've ever made on my channel is because I wanted to make it, but there are definitely times where I picked one drawing over the other because I felt like it would be a better video or whatever. I'm gonna try and stop that. I'm gonna try and just, if inspiration strikes, I'm just gonna do it instead of trying to have like art that I make for my channel and then personal art. I don't know if that'll be a forever thing. I'm just going to try and blend personal art and work together and see how that's going for me. If it doesn't work, then we'll change that again. I don't know. I'm just making all of this up. I'm doing my best here, man. And I guess the last thing I wanted to mention is the look of the channel. Something that I have been playing around with a lot in my head, and I believe I mentioned it on Patreon very briefly, but I did want to change the look of my channel. I wanted to change the channel art. I wanted to change up my mascot, which is just me, so it's not really a mascot. My little avatar, I should say. And I have started doing some of that. Mostly the border that I make on digital speed paint videos. I've started making a new one of those. I guess the main thing that's been holding me back is the intro animation, because animation takes the fucking longest time. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but that'll happen at some point. Maybe I'll probably just do it a little at a time, and so you might notice the new border in a video before the rest of the channel art is updated, and the old intro animation might be here a while. I don't really know. I'm doing my best in making this up as I go along. But yeah. I think that's about all I have to say so far. So I am going to thank my patrons really quick, and then we will take a look at the finished illustration. If you want to be a part of my Patreon, I have been more active over there than on here during all of this. If you want to be a part of my Patreon, go check out the description box below. I have a lot of fun perks on different tiers for all of you guys. Yeah, take it away. I'd like to give a big shout out to all of my patrons for help making this video possible, especially my tiers 3 and 4 members. Big shout out to Jules, Sammy Yang 127, Wildflower, Hale, The Tiny Artist, Sammy Cooper, Jupiter Draws, Yoko Arts, Sage Rosado, Ellie, Isla, It's Dorky Arts, Castle Roodle, Orange Mango, Anna, Solisor Uwu, Nayhaven, Livia M, Kiera, Hikari U, Jamie, Creatively Anxious, Everyday Today, Grace Leanne, Dazzy Bones, That Demon Hickson, Michael Sasha Rose, Red Boots the Time Traveler, Cyphernatic, Blue Meringue, Kaya Knight, Ghost of Miles, Lauka 2, Ava Kroop, Yopolis, Clementine Jam, Lovely Siren, Jay Johnson, Vivi Martin, Bread, Bao Soup, Sarah Truly, Chewy Ghoul, Puntastic Artist, Newly D, Cedric James, Dishwasher, Sierra Drama, Alirdis, Joss, J Maximus, Mel W, La Larissa, Cornflakes, Sushi McNushi, Bug, Willowverse, Mal, Sarah K. Cook, Planting Houses, Deborah Kim, Mocha, Auzakana, and Ravern. Thank you all so much for the extra support. It means a lot to me. If you want to be a part of my Patreon, feel free to check the description box below to check out all of my tiers. Wow, Patreon breaks, my favorite part of the video. I tried to make this video as structured as possible, but I'm sorry if it was a little bit rambly. For the third time in the past minute of recording, I'm doing my best. If you have any questions about anything that's going to be happening with the channel or with me, feel free to let me know. As of recording this, it's the day after my birthday, and I believe this is going to be the 200th video on my channel. So instead of celebrating either of those, here's my depression. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this drawing. I definitely enjoyed doing a more painterly type drawing. For anyone who doesn't know, this is Taylor Williams for Paramore, and I would like to draw Taylor and Zach also from Paramore at some point, but we'll see what happens. If you listened to this, thank you. I do have some fun videos planned that I'm very excited to make. I do have a sketchbook tour for you guys, so that's fun. And yeah, we'll just see what happens, and thank you for being here with me as I figure my life out. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about anything I said, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. And yeah, if you're new here, I'm sorry. This was a lot for you to deal with, but I am Oliver. I post videos here whenever I can, I guess now. I make a lot of art on this channel. I have original stories that I like to share with you guys. It's just a fun time over here most of the time, so if you want to be a part of that, feel free to subscribe. We'd love to have you over here. And if you want to see more from me, you can follow me on social media. Those will be shown on screen now and linked in the description box below. And if you want to see more of my videos, there will be some on screen now and linked in the iCard for you to check out if you want. Guys, please. I'm very appreciative of your support. I'm not appreciative for the background kitty noises, but I will see you in the next video. I'm so used to saying I'll see you next week, but that's not a thing anymore. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.